This movie is absolutely phenomenal. I love it, and you need to watch it. That's it. That's the video. Alright, time for lunch. Bye! Hi, hello, how are you? Welcome back to the channel and another episode of Film Fridays where I get a TV show or a movie that has a plot about like being deaf or disabled in general, mental health, etc., etc. Or there's a character with one of those things and I just give my personal thoughts about whether or not it's actually represented well. If you have not seen any other episode or if you missed one or two, I will have the playlist up here so you can catch up. And today's movie is Sold to Keep. If you don't know what Sold to Keep is, it is a horror film, and I am a big fan of horror films. It stars one of my pals, Sandra Mae Frank, and Sandra Mae Frank is a deaf woman, and she holds a special place in my heart because she was one of the very first people that I met when I was discovering other deaf people and when I was in Los Angeles. Every time she has something coming out, I gotta support her. You also have Craig Fogel, who is a hearing man but very fluent in ASL. I believe he is an interpreter, but he also works in the entertainment industry, and he created, or at least was a part of, a web series called Don't Shoot the Messenger. Also very good if you want to check that out. So to read off a little summary, Beelzebub, a powerful demon hell-bent to possess and consume souls, goes after siblings and their lifelong friends at a rundown country house. When you see the trailer, it's very, very similar to an Evil Dead, or it was a remake that had that girl from a show I can't remember right now. And a lot of people in the comments of the trailer were like, okay, so it's just the Evil Dead with a deaf girl in it, but I actually really liked it more than Evil Dead. Let's just get into it. Of course, the biggest thing that I look for when doing this series is this represented well? So you have a deaf character, Tara. She is supposed to know ASL. Is the actor actually deaf? Yes, Sandra is deaf. She grew up with ASL. Perfect, done. The movie wins that entirely. That's it. One thing I like is that when you get into the opening scene, you already see Tara. It's probably not that big of a deal to most people, but I just really like seeing Sandra, or Tara, get shown first. You have a deaf-hearing relationship, which again may not be a big deal to other people, but for me, I've been in 2 relationships. I'm in number 2 right now, and they have both been deaf-hearing relationships. So I relate to that, and I like seeing that. Not only do you have a deaf-hearing relationship, but the boyfriend seems to be pretty good with ASL. He seems to know a lot. It seems to be really smooth, and he uses it a lot throughout the movie. Why wouldn't you? So pretty much every single person except one in their friend group knows ASL. I think one of the guys knows it, but not really that well. He seems to be the least experienced with it. He really doesn't use it all that much throughout the film, but I think for what he doesn't know or what he's not good with, he still tries to make up for it with hand gestures, which is always nice. There's one guy named Brandon who doesn't know it at all, but I think he's only been in the group for about 4 months, and he's only there because he's dating one of the girls in the group. So, you know, that makes sense. He doesn't really seem to be a good friend of anybody else, and is just dating that one girl. And every time Tara is signing something and whatever, you know, Brandon gets all obnoxious and starts screaming, "What is she saying? What is she saying?" And he's your typical douchebag jock character that they do in films, you know, so there is a lot of simcom in this movie, but it actually makes sense. You have one deaf person, and all the hearing people but one pretty much know ASL, so because Brandon does not know ASL at all, except for, you know, flipping the bird and whatnot, it makes sense to speak and do that. But when there are one-on-one conversations, at least with Tara and her boyfriend, there's no simcom. It's so great. I love it. I seem to have forgotten if that happens at all with Tara and any other character. I know when Tara and Erin, is that her name, are hiding in the closet, there's no simcom, but of course they're hiding from a demon, so why would you? In the movie, Tara is using her heightened other senses, her sight, and just, you know, that that deaf spidey sense that we get to realize that something is wrong. When they're kind of high on drugs and whatnot, and they're dancing, there's a balloon that they're all holding, and I think Brandon's kind of like, what the heck are you all doing? And somebody says it's for Tara so she can feel the vibrations. And also, at some point when there's a whole possession going on, she is holding the balloon and it starts to vibrate when something is going on, and that's when she gets that feeling of, hey, something bad's happening, and it's really cool. One thing that really bothered me was the use of the R word. Some characters are just douchebags, and that kind of fits in, I guess, you know, it's realistic. But when you have a deaf actor and a deaf character and you're using the R word, when one of your best friends is deaf and you're using the R word, that puts such a bad taste in my mouth. That made me very uncomfortable. When Grace is first possessed, Tara notices that something is up. Grace is walking into the room and she does a little something, and Tara's the first one to notice. I have personal experience with this. Deaf people are always looking around, you know, at their surroundings, and everybody, hearing people are kind of just like, they're not really paying attention all too much. You know, when something's going on with Grace, Tara kind of like jumps up and is trying to help her out with something. Good. When Grace is possessed, she is a real asshole. Obviously, she's Beelzebub. Beelzebub is not a nice guy, apparently. She's trying to get Tara's boyfriend to cheat on her with her. She says, and I quote, "Let you see what life could be like with someone who can actually hear those moans of pleasure." And the boyfriend, what's his name? I forget what his name is, but he just says that he's not for that particular phrase, and he's really upset. I've had people say some stuff, not to me, but to my ex, actually. It was like, you're only dating her for brownie points, and, you know, she can't even hear blah, blah, blah. And I've gotten comments sometimes in my YouTube videos, and it's like, yeah, not a nice thing to say. Of course, when you're a demon, you don't care, but what is frightening and what is also confusing is when Freddy comes into the house and he's trying to kill Toby. And he's in the room right next to Tara. And this is a really big fighting scene. People are getting smashed into the wall, or onto the floor, and things are breaking and whatnot. That makes a lot of noise. That should be making a lot of vibrations. And Tara should be feeling it, but she isn't. So it's frightening because it's like, oh, hey, there's your other demon that wants to kill you, and, you know, you're not hearing it. That's frightening. But why are you not feeling it? I realize it's a little farther away than what happened in Hush with the neighbor getting killed, but if I can feel somebody drop a weight from the other side of the gym, why can't you feel that one room over? That's confusing to me. Let's get on to the big hurrah, alright? Tara is an absolute badass in this film. The deaf woman saves the damn day, mostly, but she's the last one alive, and it's perfect. So one of the things that they thought that they were going to do is that they had a bunch of drugs, and they were going to liquefy the drugs and inject it into Grace so that she would stay asleep longer, and so they could perform the spell that would take the demon out. Didn't work so much with Grace, but when Craig came in to try to kill Toby and everybody else, the boyfriend and whoever else are fighting to try to get Freddy off, and Tara's that light bulb goes off, and she's running to the other room, and she gets the drugs and the syringe, and she injects it into Freddy. Leave it up to the deaf people to get shit done. At the end, Tara's the only one alive, and she's trying to escape, but it's not working because there's this barrier that happens, right? Freddy is walking, he's all possessed and whatnot, and she's freaking out. She's doing that, you know, I surrender. She's not really surrendering. She has something up her sleeve, right? And she walks over to him, she slaps him, and he's pushing her to the ground, trying to kill her. Grace, the main possessed person, is coming in. She notices that Tara is finger spelling and also trying to recite the spell, and Grace says, "We're not even in the triangle, this isn't gonna work." And Tara, she's like, yes, you are. So between the time that Tara is escaping them after she was passed out and dealing with them again for the final time, she had the gas and she's making a triangle on the ground, and then she takes a lighter that she took from, I think, Toby, and lights it, and it burns down or whatever. And that, Grace and Freddy are there. Finally, it's done. They realize, oh shit, in a triangle, she's done with the spell. Boom, demon comes out. A+ to the movie in terms of deaf representation. Okay, maybe an A because of that one confusing moment. But don't watch Hush. Just watch this. But if you want to watch Hush, go look at my review first. As far as my thoughts on the movie, just as a movie, I actually really enjoyed it. I was on the fence about it when I saw the trailer, but I thought it was a little more unique enough. And not just because they had a deaf character who was really in the movie and not just a side character who you never see. So I definitely recommend watching the movie if you want. Do it anyway. If you have seen this movie, let me know what you think in the comments below. If you want to help translate this video, I will have a link to do so in the description box below. As always, I very much appreciate you watching, and I will see you later. Bye!